Kevin Call back at you at Super Micro, continuing our podcast on single node deployment for an SCC appliance. We talked in the previous videos about the architecture of a one NIC configuration or one NIC architecture, which we're going to deploy today. And we'll show you there will be no presence of a second NIC connected into our infrastructure. So we have this evaluation lab where we have deployed basically our SCC HA cluster management supporting an anti-infinity type of configuration. But we're not going to get into that use case today. We're going to get into really simply deploying a single node instance or a single SCC VM instance of our environment. And it's going to be hosted on a hypervisor CentOS 9. You can see here that we are using RDP to connect into that hypervisor. I find it very, very useful to have an RDP connection so you can bring up a GUI of the virtual machine manager. It's a pretty slick way of being able to quickly create a VM. So if you're one of those guys or one of those ladies that basically like to issue commands from the CLI, you can use the verse command certainly to create your domain and be able to associate in creation of your storage pool in the back end. But in this case, let's use the virtual machine manager. I find it very helpful to quickly deploy. So we're going to log in as root of this desktop, and which is our hypervisor. So let me plug in the IP address here. And at this point, we're going to be pushed into basically the virtual machine manager or RDP remote desktop connection. And then once we are connected in there, you can see here that we have our HA node, which is running in our environment within the customer demo lab. So we're going to create a single node instance, which is no requirement of any high availability within our environment or infrastructure here at Supermicro. So we're going to create the new virtual machine and then mount basically or look for our ISO, which is going to be the Ubuntu host. And we're going to choose that volume here. And you can see here that it's ready to go. It's pointing to a repo section within my root directory or folder. And then the next thing we're going to do is continue on with instantiating this VM through this virtual machine manager. So we're going to plug in the memory requirements. Where did I get these memory requirements? I went to the install guide. It's very documented there to indicate to you what memory size you need in order to create or instantiate an SCC single node instance. And then we're going to also use 16, which is again the requirements in order to deploy SCC itself from an Ubuntu host perspective. So let's continue on here. And the next thing we're going to do is let's carve out essentially 300 gig of space for this one. So let's choose our managed storage pool here from the VM. So let me just go do so here and manage our storage pool, which is here in the below. And we're going to browse local and find where that storage pool exists within our environment. And it's on the 4 terabyte drive. And there's where we're going to basically utilize our storage pool or create one. So let's go ahead and do so. And choose this option here and open it. And so let's change this to basically our SCC appliance here. And call it single node QCOW. Okay, and we're going to say forward here And then once we've allocated that 300 gig of disk space, we're going to choose the network option of bridge 0, and then we're going to finish and then start the deployment. So at that point, it'll open a new window here to start the deployment of our VM. Here we're going to deploy the OS, which is going to be Ubuntu 2204. And then what we'll do there is we'll go out and do an apt-get on our environment, pull down the latest particular software dependencies, upgrade the system to the latest version of Canonical out there, or the OS Ubuntu. And then we'll start our SCC deployment. So I'll let this finish in the background here, finishing up, and we'll see you on the other side.